welcome back to the channel. And I thought, it is the middle of summer, it is 25 degrees Celsius outside, but I thought I'd do a video for the jump season. It's been a very long time, there's a little bit of a lull in the flat leading up to the e-ball meeting, so I thought I'd come up with a little video, get a little preview out there for the Cheltenham Gold Cup. It's a road to the Cheltenham Gold Cup video talking through the top horses in the market, where I think they could go and how they'll be heading into Cheltenham, and how I see the race going myself. Look, it's a long way out. Half the horses I talk about might not even turn up at this point, but it's an early video just thinking about how the season is going to go. And we're going to start off with the betting. Galopin de Champs 7-2, A Plus Tard 4-1, Ahoy Senior 8, Aloha 8, La Home Press 12s, and Monkfish at 14-1. Now we'll start off with the favourite for the Gold Cup, which is Galopin de Champs, who is yet to race over the Gold Cup trip of 3 miles 2 furlongs. Won a Grade 1 over hurdles last season, over 3 miles, I should say the season before, as we're heading into this season, and was absolutely electric over fences last season. More so over the 2 mile 4, 2 mile 5 trip, was probably putting his best performance of the season in the only race he didn't win last season, when falling at Cheltenham. Fell at the last against Bob Ollinger, who was underperforming that day, pulled a muscle in the race, but was about 12-15 lengths ahead of Bob Ollinger, who, even if he was on his best day, was never going to get near Galopin de Champs. Now, of course, it's very different over the Gold Cup, over 3 mile 2 furlongs. You've got some proper dour stays in there, and this horse has so much speed. I think at the end of the day, if he can stay the Gold Cup trip, he wins it by as far as he wants to. His jumping is absolutely electric. He doesn't look like a stayer at all. He's all speed, but you just think he might be able to grind it out over that trip as well. And the interesting discussion is, who is Paul Townend going to ride next season in the Gold Cup if they all turn up in good form? Galopin de Champs, Aloha or Monkfish. The opportunities literally are endless for him. If he could ride all three, he definitely would. You could make a case for him riding all three horses as well. But Galopin de Champs, 3 mile 2 furlongs up the Cheltenham Hill. Could that be a problem? Well, I guess we'll have to see how this season turns up. He'll get a year older, he's going to mature, he'll probably find a little bit more stamina with age, which most horses seem to do, as they might lose a yard of speed. But he's definitely a young horse stepping into open company after being a novice last season, and he's definitely one of the most exciting chasers in training. Willie Mullins will have a job campaigning him. He's probably more oftenly raced than some of the other Willie Mullins in the camp. He had 5 runs when he was a hurdler, 4 runs last season when he was a chaser. You'd wonder where he would start off the season. You might think it's near Christmas, on the meeting on 26th, 23rd and 28th at Leopardstown. You'd think he might start there. He did there last year, then turned up again at February at Leopardstown. Got a quick, well, that was straight to Cheltenham after that run, and then he finished off his season at Fairyhouse. You think something might be similar for this horse last season. He might just have one run less leading into Cheltenham, just because it is going to be such a test. You might want this horse nice and fresh, just a little pipe opener, then head straight into the Cheltenham Gold Cup. Other horses in the betting, we'll move to the second favourite and last year's winner, A Plus Tard, who at 4-1. If you think a horse last season won the Gold Cup by 15 lengths and isn't even favourite for next year's run, well, that says something about how good Galopin de Champs could be. Now, this horse will be 8 turning 9 into next season, but his form at Cheltenham speaks for itself, and he was second in 2020 in the Cheltenham Gold Cup, beaten by Minella Indo. Certainly got the record straight last year, well, this year I should say, when beating Minella Indo, reversing the form by 15 lengths to Henry de Bromhead 1-2, Rachel Blackmore in the saddle. You'd assume Rachel Blackmore would be keeping the ride this year, which is key to the horse. She gets a really good tune out of him. As for his season, Well, it usually looks pretty similar, to be honest, because he's going to start up by winning at Haydock, the Betfair Chase. He'll win that by about 10-15 lengths, like he always seems to, first time out. Then you think he'd head like Galopin de Champs to Leopardstown over Christmas, and I think the break really suited this horse heading into Cheltenham. It was an 80-day break between the end of December running leading into the Gold Cup. Was fresh as a daisy, jumped pretty well and just powered clear. 2 out, 3 out. You wouldn't think, this horse didn't really even catch my eye. There was quite a few travelling, well, especially Manila Window, who took the lead up for Robbie Power. Then this horse kind of was just sat in behind, waiting to pounce, and Rachel Blackmore produced this horse, pulled clear, won by 15 lengths. Definitely a Group 1 horse, even though, to be honest, I did have reservations heading into that. But you think that get the 2 runs in 2022, give this horse a break, get him primed for Cheltenham, which Henry de Bromhead can do so well, and will be turning up with a definite chance. Moving on to one which is at a bigger price, Ahoy Senor 8-1, who's definitely got so much ability, bundles of ability. I put this horse up as a horse to follow. Last year was smacked in the King George, in the Quarto Star Novices Chase, I could say, by Brave Man's Game. Everyone rode the horse off. This horse can't jump, can never jump, won't do much. I was at Wetherby the next time he won at skinny odds of 8-11, but what I saw that day was probably the most special chase I've seen in person, because I'm more of a flat fan. I don't really see too much jumps racing in person, but this horse caught my eye. I followed him from there, ran at Cheltenham. Maybe the track didn't suit, who knows. At the end of the day, absolutely belted 2 or 3 fences at pretty critical times as well, which definitely didn't suit. Was only beaten a couple of lengths by Le Home Press. Reversed that form pretty impressively at Aintree in the Mildmay Novices Chase. Grade 1, that was pretty impressive indeed. He didn't really need to break a sweat. Of course, Brave Man's Game and Le Home Press did underperform, but I was cheering this horse home at 4-1. That was impressive. Shaped as if another year, a bit more experience, and this horse could be a world beater. I think connections have said they wouldn't be scared to run this horse in the King George, especially after last year at Kempton, where everything kind of went wrong when he was put in his place by Brave Man's Game, to be perfectly honest. But I just think the horse was a huge baby last year, needed to go, needed to learn how to jump this season. I'm expecting him to be much better, which is pretty scary considering how good he is last year. At the same price, you can get Allaho at 8-1 for the Gold Cup, which the big question mark is he going to turn up? Well, if you saw him at Punchestown the last day, over 3 miles in the Punchestown Gold Cups, he absolutely tore the field apart. Now, the question mark is, would he want to go the extra 2 furlongs in the Gold Cup? Well, what we saw at Punchestown was, yes, he can run 3 miles, 2 furlongs. He will stay that trip. Is he going to be good enough to win the race? Who knows? There's so many other good horses, and it's a big question mark about Cheveley Park. What do they want to do? They can win the Ryanair with their eyes closed in a brilliant performance. Do they want that, or do they want to go and try and win the Gold Cup? And that is up to the owners at the end of the day. I don't think Willie Mullins, I don't think he'll mind if he runs in the Ryanair. I think he's got plenty of chances in the Gold Cup. I bet he thinks Galopin de Champs can go and win the Gold Cup, and Cheltenham Festival a winner is a winner at the end of the day. Who knows where Allaho could turn up? Could start out in the King George. I think if he does that, I think if he wins that, he'll be leaning more towards the Gold Cup. I think he's got the ability to win the King George. I think he's short enough in the betting as well. I think his favourite, Ahoy Senor, at 8-1. There's definitely a bit more value in Ahoy Senor, I would say, but yeah, Allaho is probably going to win wherever he turns up this season, but I think he does have more chance in a weaker division over the 2.5 mile trip. Moving on to Le Home Press, who won at Cheltenham last year. I was just never convinced by this horse. Kept on winning last season, but you just thought the run was going to come to an end at some point. It did at Aintree, was put in his place by Ahoy Senor. I think Ahoy Senor is the better horse, open to a little bit more improvement as well. But we'll see. I've written this horse off a few times before, and this horse has left me with egg on my face, so I won't be doing that again. Is 12-1, which would be a little bit short for me at this stage. Moving on to the final horse that I'm going to be talking about, and it is Monkfish. Hasn't been seen in quite a long time now. 27th of April 2021 was the last time we saw Monkfish, who was beaten by Clevey in that race. That was meant to be the clash up of all times, Envoy Allen versus Monkfish. Both of them had problems. Envoy Allen failed to finish. Monkfish finished a tired horse, was injured afterwards as well. Hasn't been seen for a long time and might not be seen until later on in the season, maybe after Christmas time, I've read quotes. So that would be a concern if he was going to come to Cheltenham, and his jumping fell apart last time when he ran at Cheltenham over the 3 mile trip in the Brown Advisories. Look, he was good enough to get away with it, but like a hoist and yard, belted a few, and you just think he might have left his performance on the table at Leopardstown when he ran at the February meeting. Was unbelievable, brushed aside latest exhibition, and that was a trend of Willie Mullins' horses. Some of them which underperformed at the February meeting came on for the run and was unstoppable at Cheltenham. On the other hand, some of the horses that were just unbelievable in February might have underperformed a little bit, might have left a bit too much at Leopardstown and in Ireland before they came over for the big race at Cheltenham. So I think this horse might be campaigned slightly differently this season, might have to be as well. Would Willie Mullins run this horse first time out in the Gold Cup? If you can't get a run into this horse, well, you do pretty much doubt that. If he is running behind schedule in getting ready, I don't see why this horse wouldn't be aimed at something like the Punchestown Gold Cup later on in the season and might just get a pipe opener in. You saw with Appreciate It, first time out taking on Honeysuckle, that horse showed zilch in that race. So I think Willie Mullins would avoid doing that, especially in the Gold Cup, a sapping trip over the 3 mile 2 furlongs. So this season very much depends on Willie Mullins. When and how can he get Monkfish back to the track? If he could get him back January time, get a run in, see how he comes on from that, and maybe aim him towards the Gold Cup from there. Maybe do an album photo, just get one run into him, get him right for the big day at Cheltenham. One thing for sure is the trainer has a mob hand this season. He's got so many good horses. He could win it with about 5 different horses, but the one I'd be siding with at this moment is a Hoy Senior. I've already had a little bit on at 8-1, and when I've got a few spare pounds in my account, it's trickling on to a Hoy Senior in various contests around the season, in the King George, in the Gold Cup. I believe in this horse. I think he's going to have a monstrous season, whether it is at Cheltenham or if he swerves it and goes to Aintree like he did when winning the Mildmay Chase last season. He takes his racing quite well. He could probably run at Cheltenham, back up at Aintree as well. So I'm very excited to see all these horses that I mentioned this season, to be perfectly honest. The jumps is starting to build up. There's a little bit of excitement there. We'll get York out the way and there'll be some more previews coming your way. But that rounds up this video. Thanks a lot for watching. If you do like this style of video, do let me know in the comments down below, or if you're thinking, Joe, why are you talking about Cheltenham in the middle of August? Also do let me know that as well in the comments down below. But thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe if you're new. If you can like the video, that will be much appreciated, and I will see you next time.